This is Bela Lugosi. I played Dracula years ago, and I have been dead for so long that I don't even know what a podcast is. Pull the string! Pull the string! Anyway, listen to the independent podcasters. They need your help. As do the people that I'm about to bite on the neck. Home? I have no home. Hunted, despised, living like an animal. The jungle is my home.
This show is clean.
Oh my God.
Pretty much.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Episode 850. I used to be on a comedy radio station back in the early 90s called Comedy Radio, AM 850. Okay, that's an interesting piece of news. Thanks, Mike. This is Mike Matthews broadcasting from Cafe Anyway here at the last place on earth located somewhere in Podcastro Valley. Today it's part 3 of my Mike on Mobile Matthews interview. Mike's Daily Podcast with the lovely singer KATIE Garibaldi, and we hear from some other crazy characters too. Mike's Daily Podcast. So I got some news yesterday, and apparently my podcast was playing in the offices of TuneIn, so obviously I was a bit excited to hear what people think about this little show. Did they think it stinks? Well, apparently the guy who is the head Mike's Daily Podcast of the operation for TuneIn and the TuneIn app said, Mike's, what the hell is this? Daily. And yeah, well, podcast. Sir, what the hell is TuneIn? Yeah. Is it Pandora or is it Spotify? No, it finds the song you want playing on one of their stations. And then, after sitting through a commercial, you get to hear the last 30 seconds of that song. Brilliant! Great idea! By the way, make sure to listen to this podcast on TuneIn, as well as that Connecticut radio show I'm on every morning, weekday morning, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. on TuneIn. Please don't take me off TuneIn. Look who just walked in. Hello, my Matthews. This is Madame Rootabega, and I love the fact that I have been alive for centuries upon centuries. Yes, you're immortal. What do you like most about being immortal? That I can watch every single episode of Psych. Yes. You know, I agree with you because Psych, I have decided I am the person that wrote Psych because apparently everything that's on Psych is me. Except for the good-looking Sean Spencer. I'm not good-looking like him, but the fact that he's a huge fan of Tears for Fears, that he's always referencing Sowing the Seeds of Love and all these other songs by Tears for Fears I'm a huge fan of. Then Kurt Smith from Tears for Fears shows up on the show, where they also make reference to Kurt Smith and Neil Finn of Crowded House partying together, which is hilarious because I've seen Crowded House play in Santa Barbara, where the show takes place. Supposedly, in reality, it's actually shot in Vancouver. But I saw Crowded House perform at the Arlington Theater back in the 80s with my friend Carlos, who recently, by the way, we reconnected, Carlos and I, so that's good news. We're old friends from high school. And then I saw Crowded House years later when I was married. My ex-wife, who was a bit younger than me, she had no idea who the hell Crowded House was. I took her to a show at the Santa Barbara Bowl. She was blown away. Next thing you know, we're listening to Crowded House all the time in the car. Happy times. My point being, it is so strange that Aaron Fonseca, who I sometimes do a podcast with, he has a show called Your Nerd Side, where, of course, he talks about, like, nerdy things. He got to interview Nestor Carbonelli. Wait, let me fact check that. Nestor Carbonell. He played a character on Psych where he is like the exact match for Sean Spencer. He's as smart as him, as perceptive as him, can solve all kinds of problems like him. Oh, and I see on Wikipedia, Nestor is actually slightly older than me. What a good-looking man. He is keeping it together. He's in that episode that Kurt Smith appears in. Anyway, I was having an epiphany moment watching Psych, Madame Rootabega.
Michael Master, I was just kidding. I hate that show.
Oh, look who else just walked in.
Oh, day, Mike. This is Valentino, the parking attendant.
And this is Bison Bentley. Do you know that?
Mike, we don't like that. That guy from TuneIn doesn't like your show, day.
I don't think he doesn't like it. He just didn't understand it. He just wants every podcast to sound exactly the same. Like, hey, everybody, today we're going to talk about how you can dare spot Nick.
Mike, I've never heard a podcast start like that.
Oh, well, you know, they start off with, hey, the podcast right now, we're going to talk to the Sports Center.
Mike, I have never heard a podcast start with that either. Do you know that?
I'm just saying this podcast is a little bit different. So the guy, I run into this all the time with people inside and outside podcasting, radio. They want things to fit in a box. And because this podcast does not fit in a box, although if it did fit in a box, what I would suggest is putting a little bit of tissue around it to keep it from breaking because it's so fragile.
Michael Master, you are equating this podcast with some kind of a fragile piece of china. Ooh!
Yeah, I am.
That is so funny. Ha!
Thank you, madam. So, in conclusion, I would like to say, listen to my friend Aaron Fonseca's show, Your Nerd Side. And I was on there, actually. He's going to be posting that sometime this weekend. We had a really great time recording it yesterday, but I have to say, he does better doing his show when he's not thinking about what other people have told him to do to make his podcast better. I think this TuneIn guy that was capping on my show, or maybe it was somebody from like Sirius or something, gave him some advice and was just messing with his head. He wasn't doing the typical Aaron Fonseca flow. And I was like, what happened? So you know what? Be careful who you give advice to, and listen to the advice you're giving to someone before you give it. Because you gotta let the artistic thing happen, man. You gotta let it flow. That's right. Yeah, let's hear it for artistic things. Whoa, what the hell? Even I was saying what the hell just then.
Michael Master, I wish it was 1950. That was a great year. Ooh.
That's what they did in Indiana. They have teleported the whole state back to 1950, and this is what's happened. Salesforce is stepping up its opposition to Indiana's controversial religious freedom law. This according to HuffingtonPost.com. The cloud computing company said yesterday it is helping employees who are uncomfortable with the law, which allows business owners to discriminate against LGBT people. This cloud computing company, Salesforce, is helping those people uncomfortable with that transfer out of the state. Salesforce confirmed it has helped several workers arrange plans to leave Indiana. The CEO, Mark Benioff, who helped lead a corporate boycott against Indiana last week, said, quote, I just got an email on the way to the studio. Oh, he was going to CNN. From another employee who said, look, I don't feel comfortable living in this state anymore. You have to move me out. I gave him a $50,000 relocation package and said, great, you're clear to go. I do this podcast for free. I would like a $50,000 relocation package. Send me to the moon. I'll go there. That would be, where can I get in on that? Then the chief executive of Salesforce, by the way, which is a marketing cloud company, said, our employees in Indy started a grassroots effort that led to us to take a stand against this law. As a result of this law, a few employees have asked to relocate, and we support those requests. This is not unusual for Salesforce. Meanwhile, a small, independently owned pizza restaurant somewhere in Indianapolis is discriminating against gays by saying, we will not ever cater our pizza to a gay wedding. Hey, this is America, okay? We can all say what we want and what we feel and all that, because that's what we came to this country to do, right? We had a nasty old king telling us, hey, give us all your money and you can't really be yourself because you're not really a country and all that, blah, blah. So we can say we're Americans. We can say what we feel independently, but it's also our right to say if, I think you're jack crazy, which is exactly how I feel about Charlie Daniels, except for the fact that I love his music so freaking much. And I just heard a song I never heard before that he did pretty recently. And I'm like, that guy still's got it, but with his diet, he eats like the Southern cooking food that's just like littered with lard and whatnot. I don't know how that guy's still alive. But anyway, God bless him. He makes some cool music, even though his views are a little scary sometimes. I would still love to eat grits boiled in back bacon grease with eggs and chicken fried steak with lard gravy. Anytime he asks, I am there. And yet, in another display of what America is all about, Salesforce has a sizable presence in Indiana. In 2013, they acquired the Indianapolis-based marketing software firm ExactTarget, and the company could not afford to shutter all of its operations in Indiana, apparently, according to the CEO. And he also vowed to cut back on this company's investments in Indiana unless the brutal law, as he called it, is repealed or altered. This is a really important point, he said, that, CEOs have a lot of power and control on investment in states, and we want to invest in states where there is equality. Just as there are people here in California right now that they want to get the hell out because the taxes are so high, and now we're not going to have grass. Because no more watering grass. Governor Brown said yesterday, hey, you know what? We're in a drought. All that water's got to go into keeping us alive instead of keeping grass alive. That grass will come back someday. So now when those CEOs go and play golf in California, it's going to be like the whole course is a sand trap. Get used to it. It's California. We're a desert anyway. We destroyed beautiful places like the Hetch Hetchy to get water to come to the Bay Area. We fight against nature on a daily basis. Yet we are as big as a country. Like Texas, we could secede. We could be our own country. We could do our own thing. But unlike Texas, we can't power ourselves. Texas has their own power infrastructure. They supply themselves. We use power from other states. We use water from other parts of the state that need it. So we need to come up with new ideas. As I mentioned before, desalinization. A safe desalinization that doesn't kill a bunch of sea life would be the way to go, but we'll see what happens. What do you think about all that? What's your 2 cents? What do you think about all this? Email me, mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. I read your comments on the section emails from email. Also email me there if you'd like to be a guest on the show or if you would like to sponsor the show, mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. And there's the website, mikesdailypodcast.com, with links to where to listen to the show in iTunes. Subscribe to the show in iTunes. You can comment on the show and rate the show there. If you do, more people find out about us and we don't languish in obscurity like Bela Lugosi was talking about. And you can also find us on YouTube. We're on SoundCloud, Stitcher, Player FM, Ameristream. Sorry, I just had a seizure while I said that word. Ameristream, Mixcloud, Podomatic. Links to all those at mikesdailypodcast.com. And I'm also on the air in Connecticut weekday mornings from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. now. I do the morning show now. You can listen to me there. It's Connecticut local time when I'm on. In Griswold, and tell your friends about the show through Facebook. Like the Facebook page, and when I post a new show, share it with your friends, and more people will find out about us. We're also on Twitter. Retweet us when I tweet to help let more people know about us, and we're also on Tumblr, Yelp, and Instagram. Links to all those at mikesdailypodcast.com. And the Amazon link, too. If you're going to buy anything on Amazon, go through that link first at mikesdailypodcast.com. We get a little bit of support from that. And finally, we have the blog, The Daily Podcast Picture, and all my past interviews at mikesdailypodcast.com. And now, I must say specifically, because Aaron Fonseca told me this yesterday when we were working on his podcast, that when he was listening to the last podcast that I did, he didn't understand all of a sudden that I was interviewing KATIE Garibaldi. He's like, you didn't preface that in any way. It just popped up and I thought it was a character you were doing. I got all confused. I'm old and senile. Ah, what's this? It's a cell phone. Oh, get it away from me. Oh, it's shocking me. I'm dead. All right, so here is part 3 of my interview with Katie Garibaldi in the segment Mike on Mobile, because I am broadcasting this from a mobile phone in a mobile location somewhere in San Francisco.
Mike on Mobile.
I'm speaking with singer-songwriter Katie Garibaldi. We're here in San Francisco. I'm somewhere. What is this particular area? Do you know what we called it? We're on Folsom Prison Blues. I hear that train coming around the bend.
Yeah.
We're here.
Yeah, we're here.
That's all that matters in this.
I'm blank. I don't know.
And did you meet your husband in any sort of interesting way?
We met through mutual friends.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
That's a good. Yeah. That's good.
Elaborate.
So it wasn't an internet thing.
No.
Yeah.
His friend knew my friend, and we all got together one night and been together ever since.
Oh,
I wish it was more, I don't know, exciting story, but that's what happened.
That's a beautiful story.
Thank you.
I would have also accepted arranged. It was an arranged marriage, or
I guess it was, it almost was, but we both weren't expecting to meet each other. I almost didn't go that night. I think he almost didn't go either. So it was kind of like a destiny in the stars.
Does he write songs?
No, he doesn't, but he appreciates them.
Well, because you've written some cool songs. Like we heard Close, Close, Close on the last show, and now I'm going to play Lock the Door, Lose the Key. This sounds like it possibly is about him. It's steamy and sweet. I wrote steamy and sweet. A toe tapping tune, and I want to dance the two-step to this in a bar.
Oh, that's awesome.
A barn, I meant.
Yes, definitely. Definitely barn material. Yeah, I call this like my newlywed song. I was inspired when I first got married and just wanting to be with my husband inside the house as much as possible. And, I always thought like, we're not going to change when we get married. We're always going to, go out with our friends and this and that. But this song is just kind of like, our friends don't understand, like, where have we gone? Where are we? And, we're just kind of nestled up in our newlywed nest. So I guess that's the classiest way to put it.
That was so classy.
Thanks.
That was if this was Howard Stern, we would have been not so classy. But then I wouldn't be Mike Matthews. But it's a great song, and I think a lot of couples can relate to this. I hope so anyway, because that means that there's love in this world, and that's what I hope for.
Yes. Oh, thank you. And that's beautiful. I agree.
And you had won a couple of awards. Oh, I forgot to mention that.
Thanks.
What were they again?
I think you're talking about Songwriter of the Year, it was called. Oh,
this little thing?
The little thing I got. It was actually like 2 years ago now that I got that. And it was from Songs Alive, which is a nonprofit organization for songwriters and artists. And so they honored me with that amazing award. And yeah, I'm very grateful for it.
Is it on your mantle?
Yes. It's on my bookshelf.
On your bookshelf?
Yeah.
So let's lock the door and lose the key, or let's play the song anyway.
Yes.
And here it is. It's Katie Garibaldi, KatieGaribaldi.com, from the album Follow Your Heart on Mike's Daily Podcast. Lock the door, lose the key. Katie Garibaldi as we go outside of Cafe Anyway here at the somewhere in Castro Valley. The next show, it's the finale of my Into an Interview, Mike on Mobile, Matthews interview with Katie Garibaldi.
And here's today's podcast picture.
And the picture is of Katie and I standing in front of that nondescript location somewhere in San Francisco. And oh, it was so much fun. I want to tell you right now, you can see that picture at mikesdailypodcast.com.
Michael Matthew, I was very concerned about hearing that this Grand Torpedo player und Benita, they don't want you to commute with them.
Yeah, you know, because I'm commuting to Connecticut to do my morning show every day, 6 a.m. to 10 a.m., and they commute from the south, so I was going to maybe get a ride with them, but no. Maybe I can get Salesforce to relocate me every day and throw $50,000 into my bank account. I would enjoy that. Oh, wait, but then I would have to be gay. No, wait, you don't have to be gay. You just have to be, like, irritated by the whole new Indianapolis law. I mean, Indiana. Which I would like to ask this one question. Sort of like, was it Mississippi that passed that we will not, a law that said that we will never have Sharia law in Mississippi? Why are you spending time doing that? I mean, I understand California Governor Brown, Jerry Brown, saying, okay, we got to pass legislation to make sure people stop using so much dang water because otherwise we're going to die as a state. But what is the point of pushing this strange, it's you're wasting valuable time and money passing these laws. Am I wrong, Valentino? I mean, you're a Tea Partier.
Well, actually, yes, I am, dear Mike. But some people, they believe when they get into power, they can enforce their beliefs on the people because they feel that the people that put them there, by voting for them, want that. And it's America, so we can do what we damn well please. I can eat a huge chunk of red meat and listen to the Charlie Daniels Band there.
Right. Nobody's saying you can't do that.
But I'm going to do that right now. Are you going to come with me?
We're going to go to a restaurant that serves red meat and plays Charlie Daniels Band?
Yeah, are you with me?
I guess I am, because you're pulling my shirt along with you. I don't want you to pull... that was a good shirt.
Mike, your upper torso's looking pretty good for a guy in his mid-40s. Have you been working out? Do you know that?
A little bit, but thank you. I've got a ways to go to get to Nestor Carbonell status. But next show, it is the finale of my Into an Interview with the lovely Katie Garibaldi. Plus, we will hear from Shelley Shuhart, Floyd the Floorman, and John Deere the Engineer. Maybe Floyd will not be quite the germaphobe that he's been lately. And he was also afraid of Basil's slobber the last time. We ran out of handy wipes because of him.
Michael Matthew, did you assume that any of us care?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com. Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!